Romeo and Juliet, Act 3, Scene 1. Enter Mercutio, Benvolio, Mercutio's page, and others. I pray thee, good Mercutio, let's retire. The day is hot, the Capulets abroad, and if we meet, we shall not scape a brawl, for now these hot days is the mad blood stirring. That could be foreshadowing for sure. Mercutio says, Thou art like one of those fellows that, when he enters the confines of a tavern, claps me a sword upon the table and says, God send me no need of thee, and by the operation of the second cup draws it on the drawer when there is no need. Am I like such a fellow? Come, come, thou art as hot a jack in thy mood as any in Italy, and as soon moved to be moody, and as soon moody to be moved. And what two? Nay, and there were two such, we should have none shortly, for one would kill the other. Thou wilt quarrel with a man that hath a hair more or hair less in his beard than thou hast. Thou wilt quarrel with a man for cracking nuts, having no other reason but because thou hast hazel eyes. What eye but such an eye would spy out such a quarrel? Thy head is as full of quarrels as an egg is full of meat, and yet thy head hath been beaten as addle as an egg for quarreling. Thou hast quarrelled with a man for coughing in the street, because he hath wakened thy dog that hath lain asleep in the sun. Didst thou not fall out with the tailor for wearing his new doublet before Easter, with another for tying his new shoes with old ribbon, and yet thou wilt tutor me for quarrelling? And I were so apt to quarrel as thou art, any man should buy the fee simple of my life for an hour and a quarter. The fee simple. Oh, simple. Enter Tybalt, Petruchio, and other Capulets. By my head, here come the Capulets. By my heel, I care not. Follow me close, for I will speak to them. Gentlemen, good evening. Evening. You see that's a contraction of evening. A word with one of you. And but a word with one of us. Couple it with something. Make it a word and a blow. You shall find me apt enough to that, sir, and you will give me occasion. It's like if you give me a reason. Could you not take some occasion without giving? Mercutio, thou consortest with Romeo. Now here you have to know that Mercutio is going to be punny again, and he's going to use puns. He's going to play on the word consort, and he's going to use that as a pun for concert, meaning music. And so, that jumps me to the bottom of the page. So he's going to use that concert, and he said, will that make minstrels of us? Meaning consort. And what dost thou make us minstrels? And thou make minstrels of us. Look to hear nothing but discords. There's one of your vocabulary words, discord, disharmony, like in music or between people. Here's my fiddlestick. Here's that shall make you dance. Zounds, consort. So he pulls out his sword. We talk here in the public haunt of men. Either withdraw unto some private place and reason coldly of your grievances, or else depart. Here all eyes gaze on us. So Benvolio's the peacemaker again. Men's eyes were made to look, and let them gaze. I will not budge for no man's pleasure. I enter Romeo. Dun, dun, dun. Now remember, Romeo just got married, and he is not in a fighting mood. Plus, he's related to Tybalt now, so he does love the name Capulet just because it's Juliet's, or it was Juliet's, but Tybalt has no idea about that. He's still mad because Romeo crashed the Capulet party. Well, peace be with you, sir. Here comes my man. But I'll be hanged, sir, if he wear your livery. Marry, go before to field. He'll be your follower. Your worship, in that sense, may call him man. Romeo, thy love I bear thee can afford no better term than this. Thou art a villain. So that's an insult back then. So he's just insulted Romeo. And we already know he sent a letter to challenge Romeo to a duel. Romeo, Tybalt, the reason that I have to love thee doth much excuse the appertaining rage to such a greeting. Villain am I none. Therefore, farewell. I see thou knowest me not. Boy, This shall not excuse the injuries that thou hast done me. Therefore turn and draw. Draw your sword. Oh, I do protest I never injured thee, but love thee better than thou canst devise, till thou shalt know the reason of my love, and so, good Capulet, which name I tender as dearly as mine own, be satisfied. And so Romeo, like, dude, you don't know why I love you, and until I can help you understand why I love you, just be satisfied. I'm going to go on my way. Oh, calm, dishonorable, vile submission. So Mercutio says you're submitting to that insult, and you're not gonna fight. So Romeo won't fight, but Mercutio will. Alla staccato carries it away. He draws his sword. Tybalt, you rat catcher. Remember, he's Prince of Cats, so he calls him a rat catcher. Will you walk? What wouldst thou have with me? Good king of cats, nothing but one of your 9 lives, that I mean to make bold withal, and if you shall use me hereafter, dry beat the rest of the 8. Will you pluck your sword out of its pilcher by the ears? Make haste, lest mine be about your ears ere it be out. I am for you. Excuse me, I am for you, and Tybalt draws his sword. Gentle Mercutio, put thy rapier up. Come, sir, your passado. Mercutio and Tybalt fight. That's all the stage directions we get. So if you see this on the stage or in a movie, you get the director's decisions about how that's played out. Romeo draws his sword. Draw, Benvolio, beat down their weapons. Gentlemen, for shame, forbear this outrage. Tybalt, Mercutio, the prince expressly hath forbidden bandying in Verona streets. Hold, Tybalt, good Mercutio. Romeo tries to break up the fight. Tybalt stabs Mercutio under Romeo's arm. Petruchio, away, Tybalt! Exit Tybalt, Petruchio, and the other Capulets. I am hurt. A plague on both your houses. I am sped. Is he gone and hath nothing? What art thou hurt? Aye, a scratch, a scratch. Mary, that's an understatement, right? Because he's actually gotten a mortal wound and he's going to die. But he says, a scratch. Mary, 'tis enough. Where's my page? Go, villain, fetch a surgeon. Exit Mercutio's page. Courage, man, the hurt cannot be much. No, 'tis not so deep as a well, nor so wide as a church door, but 'tis enough, 'twill serve. Ask for me tomorrow, and you shall find me a grave man. Like grave in the grave, and grave very serious, so he's punning all the way to the end. I am peppered, I warrant, for this world. A plague on both your houses. Zounds, a dog, a rat, a mouse, a cat to scratch a man to death, a braggart, a rogue, a villain that fights by the book of arithmetic. Why the devil came you between us? I was hurt under your arm. I thought all for the best. Help me into some house, Benvolio, or I shall faint. A plague on both your houses. So he's just cursed the houses of Montague and Capulet. They have made worm's meat of me. I have it, and soundly too. Your houses. Exit Mercutio and Benvolio. This gentleman, the prince's near ally, meaning the prince's relative, Mercutio, my very friend, hath got his mortal hurt in my behalf, my reputation stained with Tybalt's slander. Tybalt, that an hour hath been my kinsman. Oh, sweet Juliet, thy beauty hath made me effeminate. That line is one of my favorites because it's like Arnold Schwarzenegger in one movie says, he's a girly man. She's made him girly in her love. And in my temper softened valor steel. So now Romeo, now his hamartia is his weak point, is his impulsive nature, his passion and his impulsive nature. And here he's not going to push pause. He's going to just jump right into this. Enter Benvolio. Oh, Romeo, Romeo, brave Mercutio is dead. That gallant spirit hath aspired the clouds, which too untimely here did scorn the earth. This day's black fate on more days doth depend. This but begins the woe others must end. So here comes Tybalt back. Here comes the furious Tybalt back again, alive in triumph, and Mercutio slain. Away to heaven, respective lenity, and fire-eyed fury be my conduct now. Now, Tybalt, take the villain back again. You take it back that you call me a villain. That late thou gavest me, for Mercutio's soul is but a little way above our head, staying for thine to keep him company. Either thou or I or both must go with him. Thou wretched boy that didst consort him here shalt with him hence. I'll send you to heaven with Mercutio, he says. This shall determine that. Now, all Shakespeare gives us is the stage direction. They fight and Tybalt falls. So if you're the director, you're going to determine how all of that looks. So Tybalt now, Romeo killed Tybalt. Romeo, away, begone. The citizens are up, and Tybalt slain. Stand not amazed. The prince will doom thee death if thou art taken. Hence, be gone away. And this is one of my favorite lines, too. Oh, and I love the way Leonardo DiCaprio plays it. He says, "Oh, I am fortune's fool." Here he has the reversal. He knows his impulsive nature has done this to him, and now he actually recognizes, if you follow Aristotle, he recognizes why he must die. But this reversal, he knows he has messed everything up. He had the foreshadowing of an idea before he went to the party. If you'll remember, he said, "But he that hath the steerage of my course direct my sails," that would be fortune, that would be God. And so now he's fortune's fool. He played right into it. Benvolio, why dost thou stay? Exit Romeo and enter the citizens of the watch. I mean, basically the police. Which way ran he that killed Mercutio? Tybalt, that murderer, which way ran he? There lies that Tybalt. Up, sir, go with me. I charge thee in the prince's name. Obey. So he doesn't realize he's dead, I guess. Enter Prince Montague, Capulet, Lady Montague, Lady Capulet, and others. Where are the vile beginners of this fray? Oh, noble prince, I can discover all. I can tell you everything. The unlucky manage of this fatal blow. There lies the man slain by young Romeo that slew thy kinsman, brave Mercutio. Okay. Tybalt, my cousin, oh, my brother's child, oh, prince, oh, cousin, husband, oh, the blood is spilled of my dear kinsman, prince, as thou art true, for blood of ours, shed blood of Montague. Oh, cousin, cousin. Benvolio, who began this bloody fray? Tybalt here slain, whom Romeo's hand did slay. Romeo that spoke him fair bade him bethink how nice the quarrel was, and urged withal your high displeasure. He said you wouldn't like this if they fought. All this uttered with gentle breath, calm look, knees humbly bowed, could not take truce with the unruly spleen of Tybalt. Romeo's words couldn't calm Tybalt down. He was mad, deaf to peace, but that he tilts with piercing steel at bold Mercutio's breast. Tybalt stabbed Mercutio, who all as hot turns deadly point to point. Oh, he raised his sword to him. So he and Mercutio fought. They put point to point. And with a martial scorn, with one hand beats cold death aside, and with the other sends it back to Tybalt, whose dexterity, he's very coordinated, retorts it. So they fought back and forth. Romeo, he cries aloud, "Hold, friends, friends part," and swifter than his tongue, his agile arm beats down their fatal points, their swords. He beats them down, and twixt them rushes, underneath whose arm an envious thrust from Tybalt hit the life of stout Mercutio. And so Mercutio was stabbed under Romeo's arm, and then Tybalt fled, but by and by comes back to Romeo, who had but newly entertained revenge. He had just thought of getting revenge. He didn't think of it before. And to it they go like lightning, for ere before I could draw to part them was stout Tybalt slain. And as he fell, did Romeo turn and fly. Romeo ran away. This is the truth, or let Benvolio die. He is a kinsman of the to the Montague. Affection makes him false. He speaks not true. Some 20 of them fought in this black strife. 20 of them were fighting Tybalt, and all those 20 could but kill one life. I beg for justice, which you, prince, must give. Romeo slew Tybalt. Romeo must not live. And the prince says, Romeo slew him. He slew Mercutio. Who now the price of his dear blood doth owe? Not Romeo, prince. He was Mercutio's friend. His fault concludes but what the law should end, the life of Tybalt. Romeo killed Tybalt. The law would have killed Tybalt for killing Mercutio, so Romeo just did what the law would have done. And for that offense, immediately we do exile him hence. So Romeo's exiled. He's banished for killing Tybalt. I have an interest in your heart's proceeding. My blood for your rude brawls doth lie a bleeding. Because of your brawl, my kinsman Mercutio lies dead. But I'll immerse you with so strong a fine that you shall all repent the loss of mine. You will be sorry, because I'm going to penalize you. I will be deaf to pleading and excuses, nor tears nor prayers shall purchase out abuses. Therefore use none. Let Romeo hence in haste, else when he's found, that hour is his last. Bear hence his body and attend our will. Mercy but murders, pardoning those that kill. He said, if Romeo comes back, he will be put to death. And I love this last line. Mercy but murders, pardoning those that kill. Showing mercy by pardoning killers only causes more murders. So that's one argument for the death penalty. And so they all exit. End of scene 1, act 3. Act 3, scene 2. Now we have Juliet. She's all by herself on the stage. This is going to be a really good soliloquy. She has no idea what just took place between her new husband and her cousin. And so all she wants is for her wedding night to get there, because she really is ready to give herself to Romeo. Gallop apace, you fiery-footed steeds, toward Phoebus' lodging. Such a wagoner as Phaeton would whip you to the west. Now, she's talking about the sun and the way in Greek mythology or Roman mythology, Phoebus and Phaeton refer to Apollo and Helios and the way they drag the sun across the sky with their chariots. And bring in cloudy night immediately. Spread thy close curtain, love-performing night. So she's like, night, pull your curtain together and block out the day so Romeo will come, that runaway's eyes may wink, and Romeo leap to these arms, untalked of and unseen. Lovers can see to do their amorous rites, amor is love, their love rites, by their own beauties, or if love be blind, this is a common repetition in this play, it best agrees with night, because if it's blind, it doesn't need any daylight. Come, civil night, thou sober-suited matron, all in black. So she's talking to the night. So this is a form of literary device called apostrophe, where the character speaks to something that's not present or inanimate. And learn me how to lose a winning match. There's a paradox. Lose a winning match. She's won a husband, but she wants to lose something else, her virginity. Played for a pair of stainless maidenheads, hood my unmanned blood bathing in my cheeks with thy black mantle, cover up my blushing with your darkness, till strange love grow bold. Think true love acted simple modesty. Come night, come Romeo, come thou day and night, for thou will lie upon the wings of night, whiter than new snow upon a raven's back. Come, gentle night, come, loving black-browed night, give me my Romeo, and when I shall die, take him and cut him out in little stars, and he will make the face of heaven so fine that all the world will be in love with night, and pay no worship to the garish sun. Oh, I have bought the mansion of a love, but not possessed it. For these metaphors, because she literally bought a mansion of love, but not possessed it. No, she got married. And though I am sold, not yet enjoyed. So tedious is this day, as is the night before some festival, to an impatient child that hath new robes, and may not wear them. Here comes the nurse with cords, and the cords is the rope ladder that she met up with Balthazar to get for Romeo so he could climb up to her balcony. And the nurse does know about what happened. Oh, here comes my nurse, and she brings news, and every tongue that speaks but Romeo's name speaks heavenly eloquence. Now, nurse, what news? What hast thou there? The cords that Romeo did thee fetch? Ay, the cords. Ay me, what news? Why dost thou wring their hands? Wring thy hands. Oh, well a day, he's dead, he's dead, he's dead. And of course, Juliet doesn't know the antecedent of the pronoun he. She doesn't know who he is that the nurse is talking about. We are undone, lady, we are undone. Alack the day, he's gone, he's killed, he's dead. Can heaven be so envious? Uh, though heaven cannot, Romeo can, though heaven cannot. Oh, Romeo, Romeo, whoever would have thought it? Romeo, what devil art thou that dost torment me thus? This torture should be roared in dismal hell. Hath Romeo slain himself? Say thou but I, and that bare vow shall poison more then the death darting eye of a cockatrice. I am not I, if there be such an eye, or if those eyes shut that make the answer I. If he be slain, say I, or if not, no. Brief sounds determine my weal or woe, my joy or pain. I say, I saw the wound, I saw it with mine eyes. God save the mark, here on his manly breast, a piteous corse, a bloody, piteous corse. Pale, pale as ashes, all bedaubed in blood, all in gore blood. I swooned at the sight. Oh, break, my heart, poor bankrupt, break at once. To prison eyes, ne'er look on liberty. Vile earth, to earth resign. End motion here, and thou and Romeo press one heavy bier. She's wanting to get in the same coffin with Romeo if Romeo is indeed dead. Oh, Tybalt, Tybalt, the best friend I had. Oh, courteous Tybalt, honest gentleman, that ever I should live to see thee dead. What storm is this that blows so contrary? Is Romeo slaughtered, and is Tybalt dead? My dearest cousin and my dearest lord, then dreadful trumpets sound the general doom. For who is living if those two are gone? Tybalt is gone, and Romeo banished. Romeo that killed him, he is banished. Oh, God, did Romeo's hand shed Tybalt's blood? It did, it did. Alas, the day it did. Oh, serpent heart, hid with a flowering face. Now, if you've never understood oxymorons or paradox, here you go in this one little speech by Juliet. She's like, she thought she trusted Romeo, but was he just beautiful and he was really evil inside? She doesn't know. Serpent heart hid with a flowering, beautiful face. Did ever dragon keep so fair a cave, a beautiful cave, but a dragon inside? Beautiful tyrant, oxymoron. Fiend angelical, dove-feathered raven, wolvish ravening lamb. So a lamb that's wolvish, despised substance of divinest show, just opposite to what thou justly seemest, a damned saint, an honorable villain. O nature, what hadst thou to do in hell when thou didst bower the spirit of a fiend in moral paradise of such sweet flesh? Was ever book containing such vile matter so fairly bound? Oh, that deceit should dwell in such a gorgeous palace. See, those paradoxical deceit inside a gorgeous palace, a book that has horrible stuff, a beautiful book that has horrible stuff in it. Those are contradictions, just like she thinks Romeo must be beautiful but vile inside. There's no trust, no faith, no honesty in man, all perjured, all forsworn, all not, all dissemblers. See your good vocabulary words, perjured, dissemblers. And where's my man? Give me some aqua vita. These griefs, these woes, these sorrows make me old. Shame come to Romeo. Now, Juliet has had a moment to catch her breath and think. And when she hears the nurse say, shame come to Romeo, now that's her husband, so she remembers that she's a thinker, I'm telling you. Okay, blistered be thy tongue, she's talking to the nurse, for such a wish. He was not born to shame. Upon his brow shame is a shame to sit. For 'tis a throne where honor may be crowned on his brow, sole monarch of the universe, of universal earth. Oh, what a beast I was to chide at him. Remember the chide word? So now she's getting onto herself for saying anything bad about Romeo. Will you speak well of him that killed your cousin? Shall I speak ill of him that is my husband? Ah, poor my lord, her lord is Romeo, what tongue shall smooth thy name when I, thy 3 hours wife, have mangled it? But wherefore, remember wherefore means why, wherefore, villain, didst thou kill my cousin? That villain cousin would have killed my husband. It's because he would have killed my husband. He would have killed you, Romeo, had you not killed him. I know that's the reason. Back, foolish tears, back to your native spring. Your tributary drops belong to woe, which you, mistaking, offer up to joy. My husband lives, that Tybalt would have slain, and Tybalt's dead, that would have slain my husband. All this is comfort. Wherefore weep I then? Why am I weeping? Some word there was worser than Tybalt's death. So she's remembering what the nurse said, that murdered me. I would forget it fain, but oh, it presses to my memory like damned guilty deeds to sinners' minds. Tybalt is dead, and Romeo is banished. That one word banished, hath slain 10,000 Tybalts. Tybalt's death was woe enough if it had ended there. So if Romeo wouldn't have killed Tybalt, Romeo wouldn't be banished. It would be bad if Tybalt was dead, but now Romeo's banished. Or if sour woe delights in fellowship and needly will be ranked with other griefs, why followed not, when she said Tybalt's dead, thy father or thy mother, nay, or both, which modern lamentations might have moved, but with a rearward following Tybalt's death, Romeo is banished. To speak that word is father, mother, Tybalt, Romeo, Juliet, all slain, all dead. Romeo is banished. There is no end, no limit, measure bound in that word's death. No words can that woe sound. Where is my father and mother, nurse? Weeping and wailing over Tybalt's corse. Will you go to them? I will bring you thither. Wash they his wounds with tears? Mine shall be spent when theirs are dry for Romeo's banishment. Take up those cords, poor ropes, you are beguiling, I'll have to look at that word. Both you and I, for Romeo is exiled. He made you for a highway to my bed, but I, a maid, die maidened, widowed. So she doesn't think she's going to get to see him anymore ever again. Come, cords, come, nurse. I'll to my wedding bed, and death, not Romeo, take my maiden head. She really doesn't think there's a chance. Hie to your chamber, I'll find Romeo to comfort you. I wot well where he is. It's like, I know where he is. Hark ye, your Romeo will be here at night. I'll to him. He is hid at Lawrence's cell. So we don't really know how the nurse knows where Romeo is, but she does. She knows that he's at Friar Lawrence's. Juliet gives the nurse a ring. So she gives him a ring to give to Romeo. Oh, find him. Give this ring to my true knight and bid him come to take his last farewell. So, exit. Act 3, Scene 3. Enter Friar Lawrence. Now, Romeo, this is where I just want to slap him, but you can draw your own conclusions. Romeo, come forth. Come forth, thou fearful man. Affliction is enamored of thy parts, and thou art wedded to calamity. There's another one of our words, calamity. Enter Romeo. Father, what news? What is the prince's doom? What sorrow craves acquaintance at my hand that I know not? Too familiar is my dear son with such sour company. I bring thee tidings of the prince's doom. What less than doomsday is the prince's doom? A gentle judgment vanished from his lips, but not body's death, but body's banishment. So you haven't been punished to death, but you've been banished. Ha! Banishment! Be merciful! Say death! For exile hath more terror in his look much more than death. Do not say banishment. Hence from Verona art thou banished. Be patient, for the word is broad and wide. Now remember, his hamartia is his passionate impulsiveness. So here he goes again without thinking. There is no world without Verona walls, but purgatory, torture, hell itself. Hence, banished is banished from the world. Is he overreacting? Is there a world outside Verona? I think so. This is hyperbole, but he automatically goes to the worst. And world's exile is death, then banished is death mistermed, calling death banishment. Thou cuttest my head off with a golden axe, and smilest upon the stroke that murders me. O deadly sin, O rude unthankfulness, thy fault uh, our law calls death, but the kind prince, taking thy part, hath rushed aside the law, and turned that black word death to banishment. This is dear mercy, and thou seest it not. 'Tis torture and not mercy. Heaven is here where Juliet lives, and every cat and dog and little mouse, every unworthy thing, live here in heaven and may look on her, but Romeo may not. More validity, more honorable state, more courtship lives in carrion flies than Romeo. Carrion is like roadkill. Flies that feed on the roadkill living here are better off than Romeo. Uh, they may seize on the white wonder of Juliet's hand. They can land on her hand and steal immortal blessing from her lips. They can land on her lips. Who even in pure and vestal modesty, and we have already talked about the vestal virgins, still blush as thinking their own kisses sin. But Romeo may not. He is banished. Flies may do this, but I from this must fly. You like the little pun? Flies can land on Juliet, but he must fly away from Juliet. They are free men, but I am banished. And sayest thou yet that exile is not death? Hadst thou no poison mix, no sharp ground knife? He's ready to kill himself. No sudden mean of death, thou ne'er so mean, but banished to kill me? Banished, O friar, the damned use of that word in hell. Howling attends it. How hast thou the heart, being a divine and ghostly confessor, a sin absolver, a preacher, and my friend professed to mangle me with that word banished? So that little monologue, that was a monologue, and he's feeling sorry for himself, and he's not thinking. Friar Lawrence says, Thou fond madman, hear me a little speck. Listen just a little speak. Oh, thou wilt speak again of banishment. I'll give thee armor to keep off that word. Adversity, sweet milk, philosophy. Let me give you my philosophy to comfort thee, though thou art banished. Yet banished. Hang up philosophy. I don't care for your philosophy. Unless philosophy can make a Juliet displant a town, reverse a prince's doom, it helps not, it prevails not. Talk no more. Oh, then I see that madmen have no ears. How should they when that wise men have no eyes? Can't you see how I'm suffering? Can't you see what this is horrible? Let me dispute with thee of thy estate. Let me talk to you about this for a minute. Let me argue with you. Thou canst not speak with thee of thy, thou canst not speak of that thou dost not feel. Wert thou as young as I, Juliet thy love, an hour but married, Tybalt murdered, doting like me, and like me banished, then mightst thou speak. Then mightst thou tear thy hair and fall upon the ground as I do now, taking the measure of an unmade grave. Knocking is heard from within. Arise, one knocks. Good Romeo, hide thyself. Not I, unless the breath of heart-sick groans mist-like enfold me from the searcher's eyes. I'm not going anywhere unless my groans make mist and hide me themselves. My computer won't move. Hang on. It's stalling out on me. Okay. Knocking comes again. Hark! How they knock! Who's there? Romeo, arise, thou wilt be taken. Stay a while, stand up. Knocking. Run to my study. By and by, God's will. Oh my goodness. Wait just a second, it still is not flowing well. Oops. We knew the nurse was at the door, right? And hide thyself. Search of eyes. Oh, crazy computer. Sorry, you guys. Hang on. Okay. Who knocked so hard? Wait. Run to my study. By and by, God's will. What simpleness is this? I come, I come. Who knocks so hard? Whence come you? What's your will? From within. Let me come in, and you shall know my errand. I come from Lady Juliet. And the friar opens the door. Welcome, then. The nurse comes in. Oh, holy friar, oh, tell me, holy friar, where is my lady's lord? Where's Romeo? There on the ground, with his own tears made drunk. Oh, he is even in my mistress's case, just like Juliet, she's crying, just in her case. Oh, woeful sympathy, piteous predicament, even so lies she, blubbering and weeping, weeping and blubbering. Stand up, stand up, stand if you be a man, for Juliet's sake, for her sake, rise and stand. Why should you fall into so deep so deep a moan? Nurse? Ah, sir, death's the end of all. And she says, ah, sir, well, death is the end for everybody. Speakest thou of Juliet? How is it with her? Does she not think me an old murderer? Now I have stained the childhood of our joy with blood removed but little from her own, meaning Tybalt's. Where is she, and how doth she? And what says my concealed lady to our cancelled love? Our concealed love, sorry. Oh, she says nothing, sir, but weeps, and now falls on her bed, and then starts up, and Tybalt calls, and then on Romeo cries, and then down falls again, as if that name shot from the deadly level of a gun didn't murder her, as that name's cursed hand murdered her kinsman. Oh, tell me, friar, tell me, in what vile part of this anatomy of my body doth my name lodge? Tell me that I may cut out the hateful mansion. And he draws his dagger. Hold thy desperate hand. Art thou a man? Thy form cries out thou art. Thy tears are womanish. Here he's being a girly man again. They wild acts denote the unreasonable fury of a beast, unseemly woman in a seemly man, and ill-beseeming beast and seeming both. Thou hast amazed me. By my holy order, I thought thy disposition better tempered. Hast thou slain Tybalt? Wilt thou slay thyself, and slay thy lady that is thy life, that in thy life lives, by doing damned hate upon themselves? On thyself? Why railest thou on the earth and heaven and earth, since birth and heaven and earth all three do meet in thee at once, which thou at once would lose? Fie, fie, thou shamest thy shape, thy love, thy wit, which like a usurer, somebody who loans money at a high rate, aboundest in all, and usest none in that true use indeed, which should bedeck excuse me, which should bedeck thy shape, thy love, thy wit. Thy noble shape is but a form of wax, digressing from the valor of a man. Thy dear love sworn, but hollow perjury. Did you swore love? Were you lying? Killing that love which thou hast vowed to cherish, thy wit, thy ornament to shape and love, misshapen in the conduct of them both, like powder in a skilless soldier's flask. They used to fill up their guns back in the day with gunpowder, and you have a flask you'd hold the gunpowder in. So you're like full of powder and you don't know how to fill your gun. Is set afire by thine own ignorance, and thou dismembered with thine own defense. What roused thee, man? Get up. Thy Juliet is alive, for whose dear sake thou wast but lately dead. There art thou happy. That's one reason you should be happy, because Juliet's alive. Tybalt would kill thee, but thou slewest Tybalt. There art thou happy. There's another reason you should be happy. Tybalt, it didn't kill you. You killed Tybalt. The law that threatened death becomes thy friend and turns it to exile. There art thou happy. The law didn't put you to death, but just exiled you. There are three things. A pack of blessing lieth upon thy back. Happiness courts thee in her best array. Happiness is right here in her best dress, and you won't even notice it. You're sitting there blubbering like a little idiot. But like a misbehaved and sullen wench, a wench is a girl, thou poutest upon thy fortune and thy love. Take heed, for such die miserable. Go, get thee to thy love. Go to Juliet, as was decreed, tonight, like we agreed. Ascend, there's another one of your vocabulary words. Go up to her chamber, hence, and comfort her. But look thou stay not till the watch be set. The watch, or the watch in the morning, for then thou canst not pass to Mantua. You've got to sneak off before the watch comes out in the morning, where you're going to sneak off to Mantua. It's another close by town, where thou shalt live till we can find a time to blaze your marriage, reconcile your friends, beg pardon of the prince, and call thee back with 20,100,000 times more joy than thou wentst forth in lamentation. Lamentation is your sorrows. So you're going to go stay in Mantua until we can make all this right. Go before, nurse, commend me to thy lady, and bid her hasten all the houses to bed. Make sure everybody goes to bed, which heavy sorrow makes them apt unto. Romeo is coming. So go tell Juliet that Romeo will be there. Oh, Lord, I could have stayed here all night to hear good counsel. Oh, what learning is it, my lord. I'll tell my lady you will come. Do so, and bid my suite prepare to chide. So do so, and tell my suite to be ready to scold me. Here, sir, a ring she bid me give you. And she gives Romeo the ring. Hie you make haste, for it grows very late. So exit nurse. Romeo, how well my comfort is revived by this. And so he's feeling better now that he's taken a breath. Go hence, good night, and here stands all your state. Either be gone before the watches be set, or by the break of day, disguised from hence, sojourn to Mantua. So make a journey. Sojourn to Mantua. I'll find out your man, and he shall signify from time to time every good hap to you that chances here. Your man is Balthazar, and he'll bring you news of what's going on here. Give me thy hand. 'Tis late. Farewell. Good night. Oh, but that a joy past joy calls out on me. It were a grief so brief to part with thee. Farewell. I'm off to experience the greatest joy of all, spending the night with Juliet. But still, it's sad to leave you in such a rush. Farewell. And they both leave. Act 3, Scene 4. Enter Capulet, Lady Capulet, and Paris. And we know Paris, we haven't heard from him in a while, but he still wants to marry Juliet. And so, Capulet, things have fallen out, sir, so unlucky. And he's talking to Paris, that we have had no time to move our daughter, to talk to her, to get her to see if she wants to marry you. Look you, she loved her kinsman Tybalt dearly, and so did I. Well, we were born to die. 'Tis very late. She'll not come down tonight, I promise you. But for your company, I would have been abed an hour ago. If you weren't here, I would have gone to bed an hour ago. These times of woe afford no times to woo. I haven't been able to romance Juliet. Madam, good night. Commend me to your daughter. I will, and know her mind early tomorrow. I'll find out what she's thinking. Tonight she is mewed up to her in heaviness. So she is all upset tonight. Sir Paris, I will make a desperate tender of my child's love. I think she will be ruled in all respects by me. Nay, more, I doubt it not. I think she'll do what I say. Wife, go you to her before you go to bed. Acquaint her here of my son Paris's love. Tell her that Paris wants to marry her, and bid her mark you me on Wednesday next. But soft, but wait. What day is this? Paris says, Monday, my lord. So the party was Sunday. Now today is Monday. Monday, Aha, well, Wednesday is too soon. On Thursday let it be. On Thursday tell her she shall be married to this noble earl. Woo, so Daddy has gone back on his word. He's saying now Juliet's going to get married to Paris on Thursday. Dun dun dun. This is not good. Will you be ready? Do you like this haste? We'll keep no great ado. We won't have a big to-do. A friend or two. For hark you, Tybalt being slain so late, it may be thought we held him carelessly. We didn't respect him, being our kinsman, if we revel party much. Therefore, we'll have some half a dozen friends, and there an end. But what say you to Thursday? My lord, I would that Thursday were tomorrow. I wish it was tomorrow. Well, get you gone. On Thursday be it then. Go you to Juliet ere you go to bed. Prepare her, wife, against the wedding day. Farewell, my lord. Light to my chamber, ho. um, it's talking about to a servant. Give me light to get to bed. Afore me, it is so very late that we may call it early by and by. Good night. There it goes again. Good night. Enter Romeo and Juliet aloft, up high above the stage, on the balcony probably. Juliet, so Romeo has spent the night with Juliet, and it's early morning. So it was very early in the morning. Enter Romeo and Juliet aloft, and they're on the, Juliet saying goodbye to Romeo. Wilt thou be gone? It is not yet near day. It is the nightingale and not the lark that pierced the fearful hollow of thine ear. So you're hearing the nightingale, not the lark, so they must still be in bed. The hollow of thy ear. Nightly she sings on yon pomegranate tree. Believe me, love, it was the nightingale. It was the lark, the herald of the morn. So the lark sings in the morning, the nightingale at lights. No nightingale, look, love, what envious streaks do lace the severing clouds in yonder east. The sun's coming up. Night's candles are burnt out. Isn't that pretty? Night's candles are burned out like the stars. And jocund day, cheerful jocund day, stands tiptoe on the misty mountain tops. I must be gone and live, or stay and die. Yon light is not the daylight, I know it. It is some meteor that the sun excels to be to thee this night a torch-bearer, and light thee on thy way to Mantua. Therefore stay, thou needest not be gone. Let me be taken, let me be put to death. I am content, so thou wilt have it so. I'll say yon grey is not the morning's eye, till but the pale reflex of Cynthia's brow, nor that it is not the lark, whose notes do beat the vaulty heaven so high above our heads. I have more care to stay than will to go. Come, death, and welcome. Juliet wills it so. How is it, my soul? Let's talk. It's not day. And so he's like, okay, if you want me to stay, I'll stay and just pretend it's not daytime. I'll be taken and put to death because that's what you want. It is. High hence, be gone away. She's like, oh, it is. If you stay, you will die. You better get out of here. It is the lark that sings so out of tune, straining harsh discords. There's your word again, discords and unpleasing sharps. Some say the lark makes sweet division. This doth not so, for she divideth us. Some say the lark and loathed toad change eyes, like the lark changes eyes with the toad. Oh, now I would they had changed voices too, since arm from arm that voice doth us affray, since that voice of the lark is separating us. Hunting thee hence with hunts up to the day. Oh, now be gone, more light and light it grows. More light and light, more dark and dark our woes. So the lighter it gets, the darker our sorrows. Enter nurse. Madam, nurse, your lady mother is coming to your chamber. The day is broke. Be away. Look about. So the nurse goes out. Juliet, then window, let day in and let life out. So let Romeo out. Farewell, farewell. One kiss and I'll descend. She kisses Romeo, and Romeo goes down. Art thou gone so, love, Lord? I, my husband, friend, I must hear from thee every day in the hour, For in a minute there are many days. Oh, by this count, I shall be much in years ere I again behold my Romeo. I feel like I'm going to be old before I see you. Farewell. I will omit no opportunity that may convey my greetings. I'll write you a lot. Love to thee. Uh, oh, thinkest thou we shall ever meet again? I doubt it not, and all these woes shall serve for sweet discourse in our time to come. O God, I have an ill divining soul. Methinks I see thee now. Thou art so low as one dead in the bottom of a tomb. Either my eyesight fails or thou lookest pale. So she's looking down from the balcony at him, and this is really bitter foreshadowing. You look like somebody at the bottom of a tomb. And trust me, love, in my eyes, so do you. Dry sorrow drinks our blood. Adieu, adieu. Exit Romeo. Juliet. O Fortune, Fortune, all men call thee fickle. If thou art fickle, what dost thou with him that is renowned for faith? Be fickle, Fortune, for then I hope thou wilt not keep him long, but send him back again. Now remember, Romeo said he is Fortune's fool. She says, oh, Fortune, oh, luck, luck. Everyone says you can't make up your mind. If you change your mind so much, what are you going to do to Romeo, who is so faithful? Change your mind, Luck. I hope maybe then you'll send him back home soon. Lady Capulet from within. Ho, daughter, are you up? What is it that calls? Is it my lady mother? Is she not down so late or up so early? Are you still up all night, or are you just up really early? What unaccustomed cause procures her hither? Enter Lady Capulet. Why, how now, Juliet? Madam, I am not well. Evermore weeping for your cousin's death? What, wilt thou wash him from his grave with tears? And if thou thou couldst not make him live. Therefore have done. Some grief shows much of love, but much of grief shows still some want of wit. If you cry too much, you're going to look stupid. Yet let me weep for such a feeling of loss. So shall you feel the loss, but not the friend which you weep for. Feeling so the loss, cannot choose but ever weep the friend. Feeling the loss like this, I can't help but weep for him forever. Well, girl, thou weepest not so much for his death as that villain lives which slaughtered him. The reason you're crying is because Romeo is still alive. What villain, madam? What villain do you mean? That same villain, Romeo. So now here Juliet's going to do a form of doublespeak. She's going to say words that Lady Capulet takes one way and understands to mean one way, like Juliet's on her side, but Juliet has a double meaning in everything she says. Juliet, aside, villain and he be many miles asunder, to Lady, she says he's far from being a villain. God pardon him, I do with all my heart. My God pardon him, I do with all my heart. And yet no man like he doth grieve my heart. No man like Romeo does grieve my heart. And she's grieving because he's gone. But Lady Capulet, of course, thinks she's grieving because he's still alive. That is because the traitor murderer lives. I, madam, from the reach of these my hands, he lives and I can't touch him. Would none but I might venge my cousin's death. Only I should do that. We will have vengeance for it. Fear thou not. Then weep no more. I'll send to one in Mantua, where that same banished runagate doth live, shall give him such an unaccustomed a dram of poison. I'll send somebody to murder him, basically, that he shall soon keep Tybalt company, and then I hope thou wilt be satisfied. Indeed, I never shall be satisfied with Romeo till I behold him. Dead is my poor heart for a kinsman vexed. Madam, if you could find out but a man to bear a poison, I would temper it, that Romeo should upon receipt thereof soon sleep in quiet. I would take it to him, and then Romeo would sleep quietly because I would be there. Oh, how my heart abhors to hear him named and cannot come to him. I hate to hear him named and not go to him myself to wreak the love I bore my cousin upon his body that slaughtered him. I'll give Romeo all the love I had for my cousin. Uh, find thou the means, and I'll find such a man. But now I'll tell thee joyful tidings, girl. And joy comes well in such a needy time. What are they? Beseech your ladyship. Well, well, thou hast a careful father, child, one who, to put thee from thy heaviness, thy sadness, hath sorted out a sudden day of joy that thou expectest not, nor I looked not for. Madam, in happy time, what day is that? Marry, my child, early next Thursday morn, the gallant young Paris and noble gentleman, the County Paris at St. Peter's Church, shall happily make thee a joyful bride. Now by St. Peter's Church and Peter too, he shall not make me there a joyful bride. I wonder at this haste that I must wed, ere he that should be husband comes to woo. You're going to make me get married before he even comes to court me, comes to romance me? I pray you tell my lord and father, madam, I will not marry yet. And when I do, I swear it shall be Romeo, whom you know I hate, rather than Paris. Ironic, true. These are news indeed. Here comes your father. Tell him so yourself, and see how he will take it at your hands. Enter Capulet and the nurse. When the sun sets, the air doth drizzle dew, but for the sunset of my brother's son, it rains downright. He's talking about Tybalt. How now, conduit girl, what still in tears, evermore showering in one little body, thou counterfeits a bark, a ship, a sea, a wind, for still thy eyes, which I may call the sea, do ebb and flow with tears. The bark thy body is, sailing in this salt flood, the winds thy sighs, who, raging with them tears, and they with them, without a sudden calm will overset thy tempest-tossed body. Some more sailing motif here. How now, wife, have you delivered her our decree? Now, decree is our decision. So, aye, sir, but she will none. She gives you thanks. I would the fool were married to her grave. Ooh, cruel irony. Don't she think she's going to feel badly at the end? She just wished her daughter dead. Soft, wait. Take me with you. Take me with you, wife. How, will she none? Doth she not give us thanks? Is she not proud? Doth she not count her blessed, unworthy as she is, that we have wrought so worthy a gentleman to be her bride? Juliet, not proud you have, but thankful that you have. Proud can I never be of what I hate, but thankful even for hate that is meant love. She says, I am not proud of what you have found for me, but I am thankful that you have found it. I can never be proud of what I hate, but I can be thankful for something I hate, for it was meant with love. How? 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 Chopped logic, what is this? Proud, and I thank you, and I thank you not, and yet not proud, mistress minion you. Thank me no thankings, nor proud me no prouds, but fettle you your fine joints gainst Thursday next to go with Paris to St. Peter's Church, or I will drag thee on a hurdle thither. Out, you green sickness, carry on. I told y'all carry on was roadkill. Out, you baggage. It's actually just a dead, decaying body. And he's calling her all these names. You worthless girl, you pale face. If you don't go, I'll drag you there. Baggage, you tallow face. Fie, fie. What are you, mad? Shame on you. What are you, crazy? Good father, I beseech you, on my knees, hear me with patience, but to speak a word. Hang thee, young baggage, disobedient wretch. I tell thee what, get thee to church on Thursday, or never after look me in the face. Speak not, reply not, do not answer me. My fingers itch. I think he wants to slap her. Why, we scarce thought us blessed that God has lent us but this only child, but now I see this one is too much, and that we have a curse in having her. Out on her, Heidling. He called her a hussy. Isn't that terrible? The nurse, God in heaven bless her. You are to blame, my lord. You rate her so, to berate her. to put her down so. And why, my lady Wisdom, hold your tongue. Good prudence, smatter with your gossips go. You blabber, go gossiping with your friends about all this. I speak no treason. Oh God, and good oh God, oh for God's sake, basically. May not one speak? Peace, you mumbling fool. Utter your gravity or a gossip's bowl, for here we need it not. You go away. Uh, you are too hot. She's talking to her husband. You are just too angry. Capulet, God's breath, it makes me mad. Day, night, hour, tide, time, work, play, alone, in company. Still my care hath been to have her matched, make a good marriage. And having now provided a gentleman of noble parentage, of fair domain, youthful and nobly trained, stuffed, as they say, with honorable parts, proportioned as one's thought would wish a man, everything you would want in a man, and then to have a wretched, puling fool, a whining mammet. Ooh, a whining mammet. That's good. In her fortunes tender to answer, I'll not wed, I cannot love, I am too young, I pray you pardon me, but an you will not wed, I'll pardon you. Graze where you will, you shall not house with me. He's threatening to put her out in the street. Look to, I think on it, I do not use to jest. Thursday is near. Lay hand on heart, advise, and you be mine. I'll give you to my friend. You're mine, and I will give you to my friend, and you be not. If you don't, hang, beg, starve, die in the streets, for by my soul I'll never acknowledge thee, nor what is mine shall never do thee good, and you'll be disinherited. Trust to it, bethink you, I'll not be forsworn. I will promise this. I will not break this promise. And he goes out. Juliet's really distraught. You can understand if your parent would have said all that to you. Is there no pity sitting in the clouds that sees no into the bottom of my grief? Oh, sweet mother, cast me not away. Delay this marriage for a month, a week, or if you do not, make the bridal bed in that dim monument where Tybalt lies. Talk not to me, for I'll not speak a word. Do as thou wilt, for I have done with thee. I'm finished with you. Exit Lady Capulet. Juliet to the nurse. Oh, good. Oh, nurse, how shall this be prevented? Because the nurse knows she's already married. My husband is on earth, my faith in heaven. How shall that faith return again to earth, unless that husband send it me from heaven, unless he's dead, by leaving the earth? Comfort me, counsel me. Alack, alack, that heaven should practice stratagems upon so soft a subject as myself. What sayest thou? Hast thou not a word of joy, some comfort, nurse? So the nurse is thinking, Faith, here it is. Romeo is banished in all the world to nothing, that he dares ne'er come back to challenge you if you marry somebody else. Or if he do, it must be in stealth, in secret. Then, since the case so stands as now it doth, I think it best you married with the county, with Paris. I think it's best you married Paris. Oh, he is a lovely gentleman. Romeo's a dish-clout to him. An eagle, madam, hath not so green, so quick, so fair an eye as Paris hath. Beshrew my very heart, I think you are happy in the second match, meaning being married to Paris, for it excels your first, for it's better than your first marriage to Romeo, or if it did not, your first is dead, or 'twere as good as he were. He's as good as dead, as living here, and you no use of him, you know. And Juliet, speakest thou from thy heart? Do you really mean that? Sincerely? The nurse says, and from my soul too, else beshrew them both. Yes, or curse them both. Now, that's not what Juliet wanted to hear. She loves Romeo. She does not want to get married to Paris, and the nurse just kind of let her down right there. It would benefit the nurse if Juliet would just be quiet and go along and get married to Paris, because the nurse doesn't want to be found out either to have helped her in this. Unless, speakest thou from my heart and from my soul too, or else curse them both. And Juliet says, Amen. So, yes, curse them both. What? Um, well, thou hast comforted me marvellous much. Think she's being sarcastic? Go in and tell my lady I am gone, having displeased my father to Lawrence's cell to make confession and to be absolved, to confess that I've sinned. Mary, I will, and this is wisely done. And so the nurse goes out. Juliet, ancient damnation, oh, most wicked fiend. Who is she talking about there? The nurse. Is it more sin to wish me thus forsworn, or to dispraise my Lord with that same tongue with which she hath praised him with above compare? She had just said that he was above compare, and now she's cursing him so many thousand times. Go, counselor. That's the nurse. Thou and my bosom henceforth shall be twain. We're going to put distance between you and me. I'll to the friar to know his remedy. If all else fail, myself hath power to die. And so she exits. And, if he can't give me a good remedy, then I'll kill myself. And so, end of Act 3.